You were born into a world already whispering in your ear who you should be, what to chase, what to wear, how to smile, what to post, what to fear, what to desire. And so, before you ever learned to hear your own voice, you were already drowning in the voices of others. They told you that your value came from achievement, that your identity was in your job title, your appearance, your popularity, your productivity. But what happens when the applause stops? When the mirror ages? When the world no longer sees you? Do you still see yourself? Or has your reflection become a stranger? The truth is, you were not born knowing who you are. You were born with a question. Who am I beneath all of this? And the only way to answer that question is not to add more to yourself, but to strip away everything that is not truly yours. The search for the self is not a pursuit outward. It is a return inward. It's not found in self-improvement hacks or branding yourself online or checking every box on society's to-do list. It's found when you sit in silence long enough to feel uncomfortable, to notice the noise within you, to face your fears without distraction, to ask what part of me is real and what part was just survival. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Look within. Within is the fountain of good, and it will ever bubble up if you will ever dig." To dig means to go through the layers of masks, of labels, of praise, of pain, of memory. To dig means to stop performing, to stop pleasing, to stop escaping, and to finally sit with the person you've been avoiding the most, yourself. It is not easy. It is not glamorous, but it is the most honest journey you will ever take. Because one day, the world will forget your name. The people you tried to impress will be busy impressing others. The likes, the metrics, the trophies, they will fade. And what will be left is what was always there: your character, your clarity, yourself. So begin. Begin not by seeking more, but by letting go. You are not your followers. You are not your mistakes. You are not your past. You are not your performance. You are what remains when all of that is stripped away and something still breathes. You are the stillness beneath the storm, the watcher behind the eyes, the voice that doesn't shout but knows. You are not becoming. You are remembering. But before you can return to who you truly are, you must first understand who you've been pretending to be. Because we don't lose ourselves all at once. We trade pieces of our truth, slowly, for approval. And the first trade is the mask. 1. The mask we wear. We all wear one, not always by choice, but by survival. The mask of strength, of perfection, of certainty, of "I'm fine." It starts early. The moment we realize that parts of us are inconvenient, too sensitive, too slow, too quiet, too loud, too much, or not enough. So we shape ourselves to fit, to belong, to not disappoint, to be loved. And piece by piece, we build the mask, until one day it becomes so familiar that we forget we're wearing it. We become performers in our own lives, smiling on the outside, screaming on the inside, doing what is expected, saying what is safe, posting what is pleasing, and every day the mask grows heavier. Until even in moments of silence, we don't know how to sit with ourselves without asking, "What do they think of me?" Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own. We've become strangers to our own minds, so desperate to be seen, we forget to see ourselves." The Stoics never taught us to be cold. They taught us to be clear, to know what belongs to us and what doesn't, to understand that the opinions of others are not chains unless we hand them the key, and that the only reputation that truly matters is the one we hold within. So, What happens when we take the mask off? Not all at once. That would be terrifying. But piece by piece, layer by layer. What if we said, I don't have it all together. I'm tired of pretending. I want to feel real again. Not to everyone, but to someone. Maybe even to ourselves. Because here's the truth. The mask may protect you from rejection, but it also blocks connection. It hides your pain, but also your joy. It shields your weakness, but suffocates your strength. And the longer you wear it, the more you start to believe that the mask is all you are. But you are not the role you play, not the smile you force, not the image you curate. You are what remains when the performance ends, when the lights go out, when there is no one to impress. That is where you live. That is where the healing begins. That is where your power has always been. Sound. Soft rustle of cloth being removed. A deeper breath. Stillness. So take a moment, in silence, to ask, who am I when I stop pretending? Who am I without the mask? And if that question shakes you, good. It means you're getting closer. Because what's behind the mask isn't shame. It's not failure. It's you. Honest, flawed, whole, and you've been waiting to be seen. By you, all along. You can take off the mask, but then you're left with another question. If I'm not the image they admired, what do I still have to be proud of? When there's nothing left to prove, do you still feel worthy? Maybe it's time to ask, does achievement truly fill the emptiness within us? 2. When achievement isn't enough, you did it. You won. You finished the race, closed the deal, got the job, hit the goal. They clapped. You smiled. And for a moment, it felt like everything you were waiting for had arrived. But then the applause faded, and so did the feeling. And you wondered, why do I still feel empty? The world taught you to measure yourself by output, by milestones, by numbers. You believed that if you worked hard enough, proved yourself long enough, achieved enough, you'd finally feel complete. But nobody told you the truth. Achievement is addictive and deeply unsatisfying because it's not designed to fulfill you. It's designed to move the bar. The moment you reach it, it moves again. The Stoics understood this. Marcus Aurelius ruled the largest empire in the known world. He had armies, power, status, influence. And yet, he wrote, ambition means tying your well-being to what other people say or do. Sanity means tying it to your own actions. He didn't speak of legacy. He spoke of character, not of winning, but of becoming. Because he knew you can have everything and still not have yourself. Modern life sells you a lie, that if you just climb high enough, run fast enough, collect enough, that one day you'll arrive. But the arrival is a mirage. Every summit reveals another peak. Every victory comes with new pressure. And the question you've been avoiding waits for you at every finish line. If I'm not what I achieve, then what am I? That's when the real journey begins. When you stop chasing and start examining. When you stop performing and start listening. To the part of you that isn't ambitious, that isn't impressed by your resume, that doesn't care how many people follow you, but cares deeply about how you show up, how you treat others, how you treat yourself, how quiet your conscience is at night. You were not made to be a machine. You were not made to endlessly produce. You were made to live in alignment, to act with virtue, to think clearly, to love fully, to give without needing to be seen. That is success. Not what you collect, but who you become. So if you're standing on a podium, but feel nothing, you're not broken. You're just beginning. Beginning to see that joy isn't found at the end of achievement, but in the presence you bring to the process. beginning to realize that what you truly crave isn't a title, but truth. Not attention, but authenticity. Not the reward, but the reason. You are not here to win. You are here to live, to do things that matter, that endure, that leave you proud, even when no one is watching. Because the world may cheer for what you achieve, but only your soul will ever know whether you did it with integrity. Behind the goals, the titles, the applause, there is a small voice you stopped hearing. It was once your compass, but the noise of the world drowned it out. And now, to find yourself again, you must relearn how to listen, not to the world, but to the whisper within your own heart. 3. How to hear your inner voice again. There was a time when you could hear it, not loud, not demanding, just there, like a whisper at the edge of your thoughts. Your inner voice, the real one, the one that told you the truth, the one that wasn't trying to impress, perform, or compete. But somewhere along the way, it went quiet. Not because it disappeared, but because the world got louder. Notifications, opinions, advertisements, algorithms. People who speak louder than they listen. Noise. So much noise. And in all that noise, you forgot what your own voice even sounded like. The Stoics knew this silence well. They didn't call it inner voice. They called it reason, logos, the guiding principle within. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." But how do you hear that voice again, when everything around you demands your attention? How do you return to the quiet clarity you once knew? The answer is not more. It's less. You don't recover your inner voice by chasing it. You find it by removing what drowns it out. You disconnect. You go inward. You become still, not just externally, but mentally. You stop checking your phone every 5 minutes. You stop filling every silence with sound. You stop asking everyone else for their opinion and start asking yourself, what do I know to be true? At first, the silence will feel unbearable, like withdrawal, like boredom, like a loss. But stay there. Wait longer than you usually do, because beneath the static is the signal. It's always been there. Waiting. Patient. Unaffected by likes, trends, or external approval. And when it returns, it won't shout. It won't beg. It will gently remind you, this is who you are. This is what matters. You already know. To hear your inner voice again, you must become someone who listens. And listening is a discipline. It requires saying no. No to distraction. No to urgency. No to always being stimulated. It requires creating space, not just in your schedule, but in your soul. A space where truth has room to rise again. Don't be surprised if your voice is softer than you remember. Kinder. Stronger. It hasn't forgotten you. It never left. You just stopped visiting. But it's still there. Still waiting. Still yours. So sit. Breathe. Listen. Not for answers. Not for guidance. Just to remember what your own soul sounds like. Without the echo of everyone else. Because when you hear it again, you'll know. You're no longer lost. You're just coming home. But listening alone is not enough. You'll hear many voices, some from fear, some from expectation, and only a few from truth. To move forward, you must be willing to let go of the parts that were never yours. It's not about becoming someone new, but shedding who you never truly were. 4. The art of letting go of who you're not. Before you know who you are, you must let go of who you're not. And that is the harder task. Because we don't just carry dreams. We carry false identities, stories we inherited, roles we never questioned, masks we forgot we were wearing. Letting go of those stories can feel like losing yourself. but in truth, it's the beginning of becoming yourself. You are not your job title. You are not the version of you that pleases others. You are not the expectations your family placed on your shoulders. You are not your trauma. You are not your perfection. You are not the voice in your head that says, be more, do more, prove more. You are not here to become a brand. You are here to become free. The Stoics understood this art of shedding. Epictetus, once a slave, said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." But sometimes, what lies beyond our control is the image of ourselves we've spent years building. Letting go of who you're not is letting go of the need to be liked by everyone, the addiction to being useful, the habit of betraying yourself to avoid conflict, the illusion that you're only as valuable as your performance. This is not about quitting. This is about releasing. Releasing the weight that isn't yours, the pressure to be constantly impressive, the endless race toward a finish line that doesn't exist. And yes, it will feel uncomfortable, because your ego will fight back. Will say, if I'm not all of that, then who am I? The answer is, you are what's left when the noise is gone. You are the stillness beneath the striving, the watcher behind the doing, the peace that doesn't need applause to exist. To practice the art of letting go, you must be willing to sit with yourself, not as a project to be fixed, but as a presence to be honored. You must say, I release the parts of me that were just survival. I no longer need to carry this mask. I trust who I am becoming, even if I don't fully see it yet. Because clarity isn't something you force. It's what remains when you stop clinging to everything that you're not. So let it go. Let the image fall apart. Let the old roles crumble. Let the silence speak. You are not here to be everything. You are here to be yourself. And the more you let go of what you're not, the more you come home to what you always were. Not perfect, not finished, but real. And finally, free. As you let go of what's no longer real, you may feel lighter, but also more exposed. And that's terrifying, because this world praises polished masks, but doesn't always welcome raw truth. So the question becomes, do you have the courage to be disliked if it means being real? 5. The courage to be unpopular, but real. In a world addicted to approval, being real is an act of rebellion. You were taught to be liked, to be agreeable, to be good, but not good in the virtuous sense, good in the convenient sense. Good as in palatable, pleasant, popular. But popularity is not peace. And being liked is not the same as being known. There comes a point in every honest life where you will feel a pull, a quiet, unshakable urge to tell the truth. Not just with your words, but with your presence, your choices, your boundaries, your silence. And when that moment comes, it will cost you. Because authenticity has a price. You will lose people who only loved your mask. You will disappoint those who expected your compliance. You will confuse those who benefited from your pretending. But what you gain is everything. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Be indifferent to what makes no difference." What difference does it make to please a crowd who never really saw you? What joy is there in applause that doesn't reach your soul? What are you really keeping by betraying yourself to be accepted? The Stoic path is not about rebellion for rebellion's sake. It's about alignment. It's about living in such a way that your soul is quiet, even if the world is not. It's about being able to look in the mirror and say, I was true today, even if no one clapped, even if some walked away, even if you stood alone, especially then. Because real courage isn't loud. It's not flamboyant. It doesn't wear armor or demand attention. Real courage is choosing to be honest in a world that profits from illusion. It's telling the truth kindly. It's saying no when it's easier to say yes. It's choosing alignment over approval. And it's knowing that being misunderstood is not the end of the world. It's the beginning of your freedom. If your soul is tired, it might not be because you're doing too much. It might be because you're doing too much that isn't truly you. Let that be your signal. Not to shout louder, but to step back, to return, to recenter, to choose presence over performance, truth over trend, reality over reputation. You will not be for everyone. And that's not a flaw, that's your freedom. So dare to be real, dare to be clear, dare to be the one who no longer needs to be liked to feel whole. Because once you make peace with being unpopular, you become undeniably free. If this monologue spoke to something deep in you, a memory, a feeling, or a truth you've been avoiding, don't rush away. Sit with it, breathe with it, and when you're ready, begin the return. Not to what the world expects of you, but to what your soul has always known. You were never lost, you were only buried. This is Stoicism Flux, where ancient wisdom meets modern awakening. If this journey meant something to you, let it reach someone else. Leave a comment, share it forward, and most of all, live it.